To me about this one time about a company who has a high mod should acquire a company with a lower mod. There's some benefits to that.
So I say this to contract or anybody, doesn't matter your business. If you're going to buy somebody, you're getting ready to buy another company. These are my clients. I need to know, because if your business is experience mod driven, by that I mean, especially with contractors, you can't bid on a project if your experience mod is over 1. And you buy somebody that's got a high mod and it merges with yours and it puts you over 1.
You're in trouble.
You talk about protecting wealth and reputation. You just got cut out of it.
And this happens even before they get a hold of you. Sometimes this happens because they didn't get the advice.
Well, just had it happen with one of my clients out of Tampa. And I've had these guys forever and ever. They just bought a really, really large steel fabrication shop. And so I'd had the conversation. I have it with my clients a lot. Make sure, let's just make sure, because if the mod doesn't matter, right? It's going to increase the premium overall. We're going to merge the data. But if it's not going to affect your ability to bid work, okay. But it might be a good negotiating point for you to go, hey, look, I'm buying you guys, but your mod's almost a 2 mod, double. So it's going to,
right.
But if it's a really good mod and you're buying them.
But it's also good on the other side too. If you're selling your company and you have a low mod, you ask a little more money for the company.
So I'm not sure if we talked about this before, but I will tell you, private equity companies, if they're looking to buy you, the deal will die. They'll yank the deal if your mod is over 1. So I wrote something on LinkedIn about that because it happened to one of my clients. So I got a commercial roofing contractor, right? This guy's ready to go. He's done. He's in his 70s. He goes, Duke, I'm going to sell. I go, good for you. So he's got private equity in there.
Yeah.
Now, the money is considerable. Like, this guy's going to cash out with a big check.
Oh, yeah.
So the last minute, they asked for his experience mod. And for the first time in 20 years, his experience mod went over a 1. Because here's what happened. 4 guys in a crew cab, roofers in a crew cab. They're sitting at a light and they get rear-ended. All 4 guys have to go to ER. They're messed up a little bit. Not because they're unsafe, right? Because they got rear-ended. All that claim data goes on their mod worksheet. It pushes them up. The day before the close, this is because he called me and he said, Duke, they just pulled the deal. I go, why? He goes, because of our experience rating. Our mod is over 1. Now, this company had already bought a roofer up in Connecticut, a $60 million roofer up there. And so they pulled it. And I'm like, I need to talk to these guys. Look, I've been around long enough. I can talk to private equity guys.
Right.
I feel like I can say, look, why don't we try a couple other things to see if we can massage this deal, right? So my guy called him and said, yeah, we can talk. And here's how I knew that these guys were not decision makers, because they were down in Miami, the private equity company, is when the team's call was at 4:00 on a Friday afternoon. So I'm like, who works?
Right.
You guys are sweet. They're responsible to take the garbage out, and sweep the place up and lock the doors and turn the lights out. And these were 2 really young guys, right?
Third string.
Carmen, if you could extract the mousse out of their hair, you'd run a tractor trailer from Sarasota to LA and back. They were moosed up, right? And I couldn't flip the switch on it. But I also I wrote on this on my LinkedIn that said, if they're looking at that now, what the next step, they're going to look at OSHA. They're going to look to see if you have any OSHA violations, and more particular, if you are part of the site-specific target program. And that means where OSHA has now targeting you.
Yeah.
Right? So they're coming after you for this stuff. So that's going to be critical, and for business owners.
So you have to really keep your nose clean, because there's too much competition in the world of, if you want to sell the business,
right?
If you want to bid on jobs, if you want to be financially stable, all these things matter.
They matter.
Every one of these details. So you have to have someone like you to come in with a fine-tooth comb, make sure, way in advance, and you're looking for problems in the future that should not happen.
That's everything. And you know what? Sometimes it's as simple as just good documentation by the owner. saying this is what he's doing. If he does anything outside of this, we're going to write him up, right? Because sometimes they'll go, yeah, my guys are all interior trim. Every once in a while, he may put a wall in. Well, every once in a while means everybody's going in that code, right? So there's all of this kind of stuff. You got to just make sure that everybody's class code. I'll tell you one of the greatest success stories. Because I do like steel erectors, right? I like those guys. So steel fab, steel erectors. And so the rate, I want you to guess. So steel erectors are classified two ways. If they work under 2 stories, it's one rate. If they work over 2 stories, there's a different rate. So if they go up 60 floors, right? So which do you think is the highest work comp rate? Under 2 stories or over 2 stories?
I'm going to say logically over 2 stories.
But you already know the answer because I'm setting you up. I'm hoping you screw it up, right? So, and under 2 stories is more expensive. I mean, probably twice the rate under 2 stories versus over 2 stories. And the reason is because if you fall from 60 floors up, the claim is over, right? Somebody's dead. If you fall from under 2 stories, you're alive, but you're not doing well at all.
Yeah, that was it's a bad joke, but it's a joke amongst contractors. If you're going to get hurt, go all the way.
Yeah, exactly. Go all the way. Exactly. Now, so got the steel erector, that brand new steel erector, right? So I got them, and then from the prior carrier and auditor, I'm sitting through the audit. And so they primarily focus on churches. They set the steel for, so they're doing churches, a lot of them. And so they go, okay, that's 1 story, right? 1 story, that's what it is, 1 story. And then they also equate that into no higher than 32 feet, right? So I'm looking at, and they're paying a lot of money, right, for workers' comp. So now I go back to argue that. And we took all the churches. Every church has what? A steeple. It goes over 32 feet.
Yeah.
Because there's no definition. It just says 32 feet.
Right.
So I won on that argument, changed everything back. So, I'm pulling this stuff out of the vault, right? All of these great stories that we're fixing this kind of stuff. So I'm always looking at what they're doing, the classifications they're in, the breakdown, because you can split employees out if you got them doing this part-time and this. So all that's pretty common. And sometimes people don't want to change. People go, look, I don't want to hassle with it. I want to leave.